Hello, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Well, June 1st was the official start of hurricane season. While there's no tropical activity right now, the prediction is for a very active season.
In fact, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has predicted double the average number of storms. That could possibly be a record. This week, TWILA's Neil Melancon takes a look at what this season has in store for us, even as some people have not recovered from the last hurricane.
Hurricane Ida was the last hurricane to strike Louisiana back in August of 2022, coming in only behind Katrina as the most damaging hurricane in Louisiana's history. Almost 2 years later, there's still signs of damage in parts of Louisiana, and the memories of that storm will likely last a lifetime.
The cane was flat. We had a lot of water, and we had no electricity for 21 days.
Mark Melancon owns a company that builds custom sugarcane equipment in Thibodaux. He depends on an electric scooter to get around his workshop, and the power outage affected him both personally and professionally.
We went 3 months without a landline telephone. Luckily, for some reason, a week later, we was able to get internet so the company could run. And we didn't do much welding because we didn't have power. We just did what we could do.
Now, the 2024 hurricane season could be the most active one yet.
These forecast numbers from NOAA, from Colorado State, and from other expert groups from around the country. And the one thing you see with these numbers is they are all way above normal. In fact, we're looking at probably something on the order of 24 or more named storms, and as many as a dozen of those becoming hurricanes. These numbers aren't just high, they're extraordinarily high. Some of the expert groups are using the term hyperactive or supercharged hurricane season. And with these high numbers, not only are they high, but for most of these groups, they're acknowledging that they've never issued forecast numbers this large, this high, before the season began. That's enough for everyone to sit up and take notice.
Jay Grimes says, unlike last year, the prevailing weather conditions will help hurricane formation.
Typically, we have fairly active and relatively strong upper-level westerlies, winds that are blowing from west to east at very high levels. But during La Nina, by changing the atmospheric structure, these westerlies weaken. They become a little less persistent. Now, these westerlies, these high-level winds are important because they increase the potential for vertical wind shear. Reduce that potential for vertical wind shear, and storms have a better opportunity to grow vertically, to intensify. So we not only have the potential for more storms to get organized because of a lack of vertical wind shear, but also those storms that do get organized have a better chance to become strong hurricanes or maybe even major hurricanes.
Vermilion Parish escaped Ida's wrath 2 years ago, but bears the scars from other storms. Cane farmer Aaron Lee says even if the predictions don't come true, one storm can ruin a crop.
Really and truly, we can have one come through. We're in Louisiana. There's always a chance for a hurricane. So, we just do our job, and whenever we need to plan for one, that's when we take the initiative to do it.
And while the Gulf is quiet for now, it's never too early to prepare for hurricanes.
Things you got to do is sort of evaluate what is the threat to you and your family. Consider your property, the flood threat, the wind threat. But also, and this is something a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on, is think about what are the needs of the individuals in your family. Or do you have people that have special needs? Can you go a week or more without power and still everybody be comfortable enough that they can survive or function in their property?
Now, last year, due to a high-pressure system, Louisiana had no named storms hit us, but of course, that came with drought and record temperatures. Hurricane season runs now through November 30th. And guys, in addition to what you saw on the story, I had Jay talk a lot about that entire process of how we're transitioning from El Nino to La Nina and what that means and all of the details. And so we'll throw that up online so you guys can have a detailed look at what's affecting these oceanic temperatures and currents right now, but it doesn't look good for this year.
Well, I know that we didn't have a storm the last 2 years, but during that time, they've made some changes to how they're going to present forecasts. And didn't Jay talk about that a little bit as well?
He did, and I'll put that up online as well. But this year, NOAA's going to do a little bit different. Their models have gotten a little more certain. And so they're taking out some of the experimental lines, as well as putting hurricane effects on the map inland, as well as not just the coastal areas, but inland as well.
Well, hopefully that makes a difference and people will heed those warnings. Thank you very much, Neil Melancon.